Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So this just happened very recently, and I'm going to be honest with y'all. This is very ironic, but not surprising at the same time. Now I'm going to go ahead and say this. If you are a fan of Fresh and Fit, then this is probably not the video for you. If you do not like alternative perspectives brought to you, if you're not open-minded about topics, then this is not the video for you. Now that we've finally gotten all those people out of the way, and the people who already saw this coming, who already knew these people fresh and fraud for who they were, or want to see that alternative perspective, allegedly, apparently, 0.5 of the Fresh and Fit duo by the name of Walter, some young woman who's going by the name of Daisy Fit Chin, if I'm not mistaken, has come out and basically put him on blast, so to speak, talking about how she is pregnant with his child and he wants her to delete the baby, basically. Let me remind you all that these are the same men who allegedly did not believe in abortions. These are the same men who call themselves giving men advice on dating, and I've said this before. I felt like they made a decent lane, which was helping men genuinely with advice, like, doing better in their lives, keeping their hygiene up, making investments, learning how to spend their money wisely, giving men actual, genuine, and helpful advice. But then they went off into this red pill lane and everything just went to the trash. But like I said, these are the same men that built their platform off of telling men not to be bothered with women who have promiscuous lifestyles, who are certain types of women, who have slept around, who have a certain number of bodies, if you will, under their belt sexually. These are the same men that have built their platform off of disrespecting and disparaging women as a whole, especially women in the US, and telling men to stay away from women who, like I said, are promiscuous, don't want to settle down, don't want to be submissive, don't want marriage, only to turn around and be guilty of banging these same women by the droves, allegedly, and Walter over here getting one of them pregnant. Now, allegedly, this is not the first time that one of them have done this, allegedly. Allegedly, Myron has done the same thing, gotten a woman pregnant, and then allegedly begged her to get an abortion. People were pointing out their hypocrisy in the things that they say that don't make sense, that they're wrong on, that they've been wrong on, all on Twitter, saying now, while you're over here, once again, building a platform off of dogging women out verbally and making it seem like all women are whores and that they're not worth marrying or loving or treating right, but y'all are out here doing stuff like this to these women. Once again, the woman that this man allegedly got pregnant, Myron, was an OnlyFans model. I didn't say this before, but I'm going to say it again. Usually when somebody always has another person's name in their mouth, and that goes for an entire demographic as well, usually they are projecting their toxic, dysfunctional mindsets and behaviors onto that person or demographic, or they want that person or demographic but can't get them and they're upset about it. So out of their pride and their wounded emotions, they lash out. They disparage them, they disrespect them, they dog them out. We've seen too many examples of them doing this to sit up and act like it's not the truth and that they don't do this, because they do it and it is the truth. They want to sit up and talk about how irresponsible some people are, how lacking in accountability. They love to use that word. No accountability, but are the main people who don't take accountability for their chosen actions, for their intentional actions, when it's their turn to take accountability. Once again, that is a hypocrite. Now, Sneeko tried to come to their defense, which does not surprise me because he's cut from the same goofy cloth as them, but people were not having it. And before anybody tries to say that it was just the women disagreeing, there were even other men saying that y'all are not taking accountability, y'all are not being real men for doing this. And they really we're just not here for it. They weren't buying it for $1. And once again, I really can't get over this idea that they kept trying to push, that they have to sleep with a bunch of women to understand how women work. Once again, that is by far one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Right next to, you have to make the same mistakes that everybody else made just to learn from them. Like I said, that's absolutely stupid. And there have been other men podcasters who have tried to confront them about it and get them to open their eyes to the lack of wisdom that is in that statement. Also, because they have a platform, they are influencing a lot of people. They cannot afford to influence them in the wrong direction. But as we can see, that's exactly what they've been doing. In case anybody hasn't noticed, sleeping around with a bunch of people will only get you a bunch of soul ties, and it will only mess up you in the long run. It will dull your sense of emotion and compassion towards other people. You will not have a sense of self-control when it comes to sex. It will ruin everything in your life. Now, this woman, Miss Daisy Chin, she had the receipts, if you will. She had the text messages, the screenshots of them. I mean, she had them locked and loaded, I guess. she put these on the internet, and basically there was this back and forth where she showed him 2 pregnancy tests that basically said, "Will be mother, will be mother." And then she showed him, the other stuff, the paperwork, the documents. And he basically was like, "Oh, okay." And I just couldn't even, that just baffled me. Well, it didn't baffle me. Like I said, I'm not surprised coming from the likes of him. But these are the kind of people that are reproducing, that are parents. I am scared for the kids. I am distraught for the children of the next generation with parents like Walter and Myron. She made claims, and that's what I'm going to label it as, that the baby was his because he was the only person she was messing around with at the time. He was messing around with allegedly other people, but she was only with him. And his response was basically that he wanted her to delete the baby, basically. And she kept saying, "Now, I did everything you wanted me to do. I was loyal to you, and you kind of threw me under the bus. You broke all your promises. Now you want me to get rid of the baby? What if I don't want to do that?" She even went so far as to remind him, "You intentionally had relations with me, if you will, without a condom on. Are you stupid?" That's basically what she was saying. You must be stupid. Are you not educated? Because you knew having unprotected relations could lead to a baby. So why are you surprised now? She alleged that he was acting like he did want a baby from her up until she actually got pregnant. She kept telling him, "You need to take responsibility. You need to take responsibility." At this point, both of them need to take responsibility because I don't know what was going through her head messing with him to begin with. Admittedly, this part was pretty messed up because there were some people, they were basically trying to play that whole, "Oh, well, you women love to say, my body, my choice. So why, whenever the man doesn't want the baby, y'all got to try and keep the baby. But when the man wants the baby, y'all get an abortion." Once again, we need to stop letting social media and our few experiences, negative experiences, dictate how people actually act in the real world. No person deserves to have everything that you've been through with somebody else projected onto them. That's just heinous. That's just messed up. And once again, the people on Twitter were not here for that gender war pity party. They were saying, "Bruh, if you done got this woman pregnant after you knew what you were doing, you need to take responsibility." Once again, I don't know why she would mess with him, knowing that he wasn't really into the settling down life, because she admitted in one of these notes that she posted that you'll see later that he was not monogamous. Why would you involve yourself with somebody who's not monogamous, one? But both of them need to take accountability and responsibility. That's the way I see it. And I feel like I can say that while also acknowledging the fact that he really did her pretty raggedy. Let's just be honest. Low key, I feel like he tricked her because he put on this facade that he's been putting on for this podcast. And he tricked her into believing that he was some man that he was not. And that's why she ended up thinking he was going to actually make their relationship long term, have the baby, take care of the baby. They were going to be this happy family together. Like I said, though, she wrote out this whole storyline in the apps, in the notes app, so to speak. Basically how they met, how she met him, how she got involved with him, how she liked him, how she wanted to be with him, how he made it seem like he wanted to be with her. And here's where I will give her a little grace and mercy and understanding. Once again, because there are some people who will blow people's heads up and actually act like they want to be with them. And then when things get rough or they come up pregnant, they throw them under the bus. But she really wanted to be with him, apparently, according to these notes. He even took her to see his family. And I get it. She's probably not from the U.S., I'm assuming, because she's foreign. So she probably didn't know the kind of games people like to play around here. Like, yes, somebody will bring you to see their whole family, to meet their mother, their granny, who's got one foot in the grave, and still throw you under the bus. Like, people bringing somebody home to meet their family, that means nothing these days. Because people will still do people raggedy. Sometimes all that's really happening is somebody's introducing the next victim to their family, and their family doesn't care enough or have enough compassion or human decency enough to tell the person, "You should probably break up with my son, my daughter," because they don't mean you any good. Sometimes that's really what be happening. But anyways, so she said that she met his family. Allegedly, they were all cool with her. She moved her whole life, picked up her whole life and moved to be with him, only for him to throw her under the bus, allegedly, and not keep any of his promises. And this goes back to, once again, them being hypocrites. So they want loyalty from women. They want women to not sleep around. Like I said before, they want a submissive, traditional, non-promiscuous woman that looks a certain kind of way, that's from a certain country, while they go out and be promiscuous, modern, and not loyal to these women. They don't want to be providers. They don't want to treat them right. They don't want to love them. They don't want to take care of a family. But they want these women to hold them down, so to speak, or be there for them, be loyal to them. Again, this goes back to the hypocrisy. She was loyal, allegedly, to him, but then he threw her under the bus. So once again, them preaching about there being no more loyalty, especially in the U.S., was a load of bullcrap, as I've been saying it before. Complete lies. a projection, because clearly we see that he's the one that's not loyal. And that's usually how it goes when people preach so much about there not being any loyal people out there. It's because they're projecting, or they are the non-loyal person. The reason why they can't find somebody loyal is because they ran off all the loyal people with their disloyalty and their disrespect. Now, a lot of people in the Twitter comments were calling it like it was, once again, calling them out for being hypocrites. Basically acknowledging y'all told these women to be one way, and then when y'all find some of them that are like that, y'all dog them out. So the problem clearly is not majority of the women, it's just the two of them. A lot of men were pointing out that they were not standing up and being the leaders that they were supposed to, by not taking accountability, by not being responsible. Once again, I will never understand this generation of individuals who screw like bunnies without a condom on, but then want to explode when somebody gets pregnant. Common sense is missing in the equation somewhere. Once again, people have been pointing out that they need to take that same accountability that they claim all women don't take. And once again, I'm going to stand on them saying that women don't take accountability as a whole is a lie from the pits of hell. Now, the reason why I went so hard in the paint on the two of them is because of that child. Y'all know I'm an advocate for the children. No child deserves to have to come in the world with parents who are irresponsible. I'm not saying the solution is to abort them. I'm saying people should use, once again, common sense and responsibility before getting somebody pregnant, getting pregnant for someone. I really wish a lot of these women out here who are really liberal, if you will, with their legs being open, would keep their legs closed until they come in contact with a man who actually puts a ring on their finger and treats them right. If he does not want to make you his wife, you ought not screw him. You ought not let him screw you. That's something that women, especially women of color, need to get through their heads. They don't get anything unless they're putting a ring on your finger, because if you screw them and you get pregnant, then it's your fault. Same goes for the men who do this. They know good and well they really don't love these women. They only see them as sex objects. They're only attracted to their pretty faces and their bodies. They don't care about them. They don't care about any children that they'll become pregnant for them. So if you don't want to marry the woman, why are you screwing her? If you don't want to make her your wife, why are you risking making her pregnant? And then both parties of the two that I just described want to get together, make dumb decisions, and then point the finger at each other. No, everybody needs to point the finger at themselves. Self-accountability is the key word for the week. As a matter of fact, not just for the week, for the month, for the year, really. Once again, I'm going to bring this back to what I said earlier. This should come as no surprise to anybody, because once again, these people and the individuals of their ilk, y'all know who I'm talking about, have consistently used their platforms as a hub, if you will, to draw insecure, immature people who do not take self-accountability, keep them in an ongoing cycle where they then monetize off of their toxic mindsets. The goal was never to help build relationships. The goal was never to root out women who weren't marriageable and promote getting with the women who were. The goal was never to call out or hold accountable any one or the other demographic. Once again, the goal was to create a platform, an environment, a community, if you will, that promoted toxicness, dysfunction, and disparity, because they know a lot of people of this generation can be reached with toxicness, dysfunction, and disparity, because it's too much like right for people to do the right thing, for people to grow, to mature, and do better. They found a niche, they found a group of people that was ignorant enough to fall into it, and they're making money off of it. They will not stop. Unless everybody wakes up to what they're doing, and then they are forced to find another group to pander to, if you will. One last little tidbit that I wanted to include, because I told y'all I'm petty like that. Weren't these the two same individuals, Fresh and Fit, who invited Andrew Tate onto their platform and was so flabbergasted when he made a comment to the effect of, if I remember correctly, "Oh, notice you don't see Asian women being single and pregnant." And I think that it is true that most Asian people in Asian communities, they don't do this American thing where they have babies outside of wedlock. But literally, Walter himself single-handedly made that statement, which was already pretty generalized, let's just be honest. Single-handedly made that statement a little less true by getting this woman pregnant and basically putting her in the position that she's in right now. Now, I'm flabbergasted by the irony in all of that. Anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think and how y'all feel about this down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all all have a very blessed, beautiful, and safe day.